good evening, my fellow Georgia Bulldog fans. Salute, 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 salute. Happy Monday, everyone. Happy Monday, everyone. Happy Monday, everyone. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. It is rivalry week. It is Georgia Tech hate week. It is time to take care of business. It is time to right the wrong from last year. And a lot of people are probably wondering, damn, Mondo, what you talking about? Georgia beat Georgia Tech last year. We won, but we didn't beat them. We won, but we didn't beat them. I don't feel good about that win last year because it was not even supposed to even gotten to overtime. What happened last year cannot happen again this Friday. We need to make a statement because you see, all year long we've been hearing Georgia Tech fans have been running their mouths. Well, Georgia got lucky. Well, the refs helped Georgia. Well, that was a targeting by Dan Jackson. The hit with Dan Jackson put on Haynes King and made him fumble the ball. Oh, they swept it down. That should have been a targeting. All kinds of excuses. Well, Friday is our chance to shut them up once and for all. And there's no doubt in my mind that my Georgia Bulldogs will shut those Georgia Tech fans up Friday afternoon in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We're going to talk about that and the final top 5 SEC rankings I'm going to unveil here tonight. So get your popcorn ready. I'm Amondo Black, and this is the Dog Call Short.
Falling between the hedges with a real deal, no small talk at all. The dog call will one will of you. The dog call will one will of you. The dog call will one will of you.
Good evening. Welcome to the Dog Call. I'm your host, Amondo Black. Happy Monday, everyone. I hope everyone had a blessed and productive Monday. Welcome to the Dog Call Short. If I don't shout you out personally, please don't take it personal. This is a Dog Call Short. I'm going to be dropping these throughout the week, but I will be live tomorrow night after the CFP rankings are revealed tomorrow night. I will be live tomorrow for that one. So let's get into it here. Georgia Tech, and see, for those of you haters out there that are sitting there saying, "Well, you weren't saying all of that a couple of weeks ago." No, you Georgia fans are feeling real mighty cocky right now after what Pitt did to Georgia Tech. No. Because you see, I don't give a damn if Georgia Tech was 11-0 coming into this game. I still feel like my dogs are the better team. We are the more physical team. We are the more battle-tested team. If we swap schedules with Georgia Tech, come on. We would be undefeated by a mile. We would be undefeated, ranked number 1. We would be undefeated, and our backups could beat anybody in the ACC championship game. Virginia, SMU, Pitt, it don't damn matter. Our backups could beat Pitt. So it's not me feeling cocky. It's me knowing what my Georgia Bulldogs can do on the field. The resume is there. The Tennessee game. On the road in Neyland Stadium, and Tennessee played one of the best games of the season. And it still wasn't good enough. We took in a young, inexperienced team with a injury-riddled O-line. Remember, we had a couple of starters out on our O-line. and we still won the game. Bama, I will never concede to the fact that we lost that game. We beat ourselves. Everybody, even the committee, knows that. That's why if you pay attention to the AP poll and the coaches poll and the college football playoff poll, they never respected that victory that Bama had over us because they always kept us neck and neck with them. If Bama was at 7, we was at 8. If Bama was at 5, we was at 6. We always were right there with them because even they know that night Bama won on the scoreboard, but we outplayed them. We outplayed them. But that's neither here or there. We did exactly. After we lost that game, I went live that following Monday. I went live that Monday. And I told all of you, it's a few things we need to do right now. Number one, we need to be perfect the rest of the season. We can't have any more hiccups. I don't give a damn what those clowns over there over there on ESPN or the SEC network are saying. Well, Georgia can lose one more game. Georgia can get in the playoffs with 10 wins. No. I don't trust that because you see what they're doing to Bama. You see where 10 wins or 10-2 record can get you. And Bama has a strong strength of schedule. But it is a slight possibility that they could miss the playoffs, even with a victory over Auburn. Because the way I look at it, nothing is locked in for Bama if they beat Auburn. Nothing. They have to win the SEC because look at the AP poll. They still have Texas Tech in front of them. Notre Dame are in front of them. BYU has only one loss. Bama has 2 losses. BYU is 12 right now. If Bama beats Auburn and they go to Atlanta and lose to the Aggies, which 9 times out of 10, that's who they'll be playing, Bama will be 10-3. There's no way in hell that anyone can convince me. Anyone over there at ESPN, Heather Dinich, Paul Feinbaum, Greg McElroy, none of them can convince me that playoff committee that has multiple Big 12 people, it's loaded with Big 12 people now. None of them clowns over there at ESPN can, even the head clown, Stephen A. Smith, because you know he don't know what the hell he's talking about. That's the same clown, remember, that predicted TCU. He predicted that TCU would beat us in the national title game 3 years ago. But I digress. Let me just do this for you all. Let me just put up the rankings here. BYU has only one loss. Texas Tech has only one loss. Bama has 2 losses. Do you honestly think that if BYU and Texas Tech play in Dallas in a rematch for the Big 12 title and BYU beats Texas Tech, they will both have losses? Well, the loser will have 2 losses. Texas Tech will have 2 losses. But they will have a loss to the team that they beat in the regular season. Do you honestly think that Big 12 is going to leave Texas Tech out if BYU upsets them in Dallas and Texas Tech has been so dominant in the Big 12? Do you honestly think that committee is going to leave Texas Tech out? Now, yeah, Bama has a strong schedule. Kudos. But Bama has not looked good this year. They're not a balanced team. They don't run the ball well. They don't defend the run well. They got lucky against Georgia. They got lucky against South Carolina, and they have a terrible loss in Tallahassee. See, you Bama fans want to sit there and pretend like Tallahassee never happened, but it happened. And now it's coming back to haunt you. Now you in a situation where you have to beat Auburn. And in my opinion, not only do you need to beat Auburn, you need to make a statement. You need to put something on Auburn's ass. It needs to be a convincing win. It can't be no get lucky last second Hail Mary like what happened 2 years ago in Jordan Hare. Because Auburn is unranked. They are nowhere near the top 25. They don't have they have an interim coach. And they're playing with a backup quarterback. So the committee is going to be watching. How well does Bama look against Auburn? They ain't just looking for you to beat Auburn. They're looking at how well you look. See, this committee is going more by eye test than by your resume. They don't really give a damn about resume. They care more about eye test. The eye test. It's the eye test. That's why Notre Dame is in front of Miami. True enough, Miami has a head-to-head victory over Notre Dame. It was like 3 points in September. But this committee is going by the eye test, the November eye test. And the November eye test tells them that Bama does not look good. Miami does not look good. That is why the polls are looking the way they're looking. And that's why they're going to look. Pay attention to tomorrow night. Pay attention to tomorrow night because this is the last poll before selection day. No, I'm sorry. You'll have one more poll going into championship week. You'll have one more poll going into championship week. But this right here, pay very close attention because whoever is at that 10th spot, that is not a good spot to be in. 10 is not a good spot to be in because you have to make room for the other two conference champions. That could be the ACC champion, the All-American Conference champion is definitely getting in. That'll probably be North Texas. And JMU, the playoff predictor has them at 50%, 54%. So it's a lot of teams that are on the bubble. And here's what could really blow the whole thing up for Bama. If Michigan upsets Ohio State, then you're going to have a 2-loss Michigan team there that they're going to have to make room for. You see where I'm going with this? A lot can happen. Now, for Bama to actually really breathe easily and actually have a for sure locked in spot in the playoffs, I think Oklahoma has to lose. Oklahoma will have to lose to LSU this Saturday, and Notre Dame will have to lose to Stanford. That's the only way I can see anything locked in for Bama. Other than that, I see a situation where Bama's going to have to beat Auburn decisively. And then they're going to have to go to Atlanta and take care of business against the Aggies. And that is going to be a very, very tall order because the Aggies defense is just as good as Oklahoma. They're about neck and neck. They're about neck and neck. Damn what happened in that South Carolina game. Sometimes you have days like that. Like what happened with Oklahoma in that Red River Rivalry game. Sometimes you know a defense can't pitch a shutout every game. Make no mistake about it. that Aggies team is going to be highly motivated in that Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So, but that's neither here or there. Let me go ahead and unveil the rankings. This will be the final rankings for the week. Ain't nothing changed but the date on the calendar. This is the final rankings. Um, Bama is on the bubble. Let me just go through it here real quick. Bama's on the bubble. Bama's on the bubble. They're at number 5. Oklahoma's in front of them because Oklahoma has a victory against Bama head to head. Ole Miss is sitting at number 3. They're sitting pretty. My Georgia Bulldogs at number 2. Even though all the expert analysts are saying that Georgia, if you're going off of eye test, Georgia is the best team in the SEC. If you're going off the eye test. But unlike these other, emotional podcasters, I'm not gonna put my team in front of an undefeated team because I'm all emotional and I'm being a homer. No, I'm being very, very realistic. And I know my team did lose to Bama. So they right now, they're there at number 2. And at number 1 is Texas A&M. What can I say? They're perfect. They're undefeated. They're 11-0. They're 7-0 in the SEC. And they have a chance to do something Friday night that no Texas A&M team has done since, 1938? 1938. President Roosevelt's second presidential term was the last time that the Texas A&M Aggies have come this close to bringing home a national title. That's remarkable. It's been a long time coming for them. And you think for 1 minute that this team is going to go into, and I do believe they'll take care of business against Texas. Because see, what's going to happen this week, and I already hear it, they're going to do the same thing, the media, the ESPN hype machine, they're going to do the same thing that they did the week before Texas came to Athens. They're going to hype up Arch Manning. Arch Manning this, Arch Manning that, Arch Manning this, Arch Manning that. All the attention, all the pregame hype is going to go to Texas. Texas this. Arch Manning this, Arch Manning that, Arch Manning this, Arch Manning that. Y'all know how ESPN get down. That's what they're going to do. And the Aggies is going to use all of that for bulletin board material. And that defense, that Aggies defense, is going to come out and make a statement Friday night. Book it. That's why I'm going with the Aggies in this one. Definitely. I've said it. I've said it ever since the early part of the season. I don't see this Aggies team losing a game in the regular season. Now, I don't know what could happen in Atlanta. I could speculate what could happen in Atlanta. I don't know what could happen in Atlanta. But I said they were not going to lose a game this season. They don't see Georgia. They don't see my Georgia Bulldogs. They don't see Bama. They don't see Oklahoma. They don't see Ole Miss. And they don't see Tennessee or Vanderbilt. Those 6 teams right there, those were the bulls of the woods right there. Those 6 teams right there. They were able to avoid them. But we'll see. A lot of people are picking Texas because Texas is at home, and in the last 3 years, they've only lost 1 time at home. That's a damn good record. Out of the last 3 years, they've only lost 1 time in Darrell K. Royal Stadium. They haven't done numbers like that since Vince Young and Colt McCoy was around. Oh, Sarkeesian has really turned that program around. I can honestly say that. Hey, I ain't even gonna hold you. He's turned that program around. But this is my last rankings here for 2025. Bama at 5, OU at number 4, Ole Miss at number 3, my Georgia Bulldogs at number 2, and the Texas A&M Aggies at number 1. Hey, this has been a hell of a season. A hell of a season. I've enjoyed doing these rankings for you all every week. And I look forward to championship week next week. Now, tomorrow, we'll talk about the college football rankings. That's the big one. That's the big one. The college football rankings. Pay attention to who lands at number 10. Pay close attention to who lands at number 10. And another thing that I'm curious about, because I'm hearing little rumors about Ole Miss. And a lot of you are probably wondering, damn, Mondo, why you jumping out there so hard for Ole Miss? I'm jumping out there because of what's right. I don't like to see kids being defecated on, especially after they done put in the hard work, blood, sweat, and tears. You see, I played football before in my lifetime. I know what it takes. I know the preparation and what you have to go through to prepare to even play a season. I know about spring camp. I know about fall camp and the fall scrimmages. Those 2-a-days in triple-digit weather and in mid-August. I went through all of that. So I know what those kids are feeling right now. And for this playoff committee to sit there and even consider to snatch away an achievement that these kids earned on the field, that would be jacked up on all levels. That would be terrible. That would be sending the wrong message all across the country to little kids, up and coming kids that plan on going to playing, pursuing a football career at any college university. So if a money hungry, a money thirsty head coach ups and leave you during the season or toward the end of the season, and you're sitting there with damn near a perfect record, the committee can just come in and snatch your opportunity away. Now, do I think they'll drop them all the way out of the play? Hell no. There's no way. Even Heather Dinich said that. But will they try to screw Ole Miss over and not award them with a home game, or try to put them at the 9th seed or the 10th seed? I can see that happening. Because all signs point to Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss. I'm hearing rumors about LSU, but I'm not really going to speak on that because, we're talking about Lane Kiffin. We're talking about Lane Kiffin and Jimmy Sexton, 2 money-hungry individuals. And then all you Florida fans that still bitching and whining about 2023. Got this TJ guy that does podcasting. He's a Florida State fan. I was listening to him early this morning. Yeah, I hope the committee kicks Ole Miss out of the playoffs. And the co-host was like, why would you want that done to Ole Miss? We didn't think it was right when they did it to Florida State. Well, we lost our quarterback, and they kept us out of playoffs. Let me say something to you, clown. First of all, you've been bitching and whining for the last 2 years about that. Okay, get over it. Now, there were teams before 2023 that lost their quarterback before the playoffs. The 2014 Ohio State Buckeyes, they lost J.T. Barrett in the Michigan game, the season finale. In comes Cardale Jones. The backup in the Big Ten championship game against Wisconsin. Why Ohio State wasn't snubbed? Because Cardale actually looked better than J.T. Barrett. Let's go a year after 2023 with my Georgia Bulldogs. We lost Carson Beck at halftime of the SEC championship game. Why the committee didn't snub us last year? Because the committee saw what I saw and what a lot of Georgia Bulldog fans saw, that Garner Stockton actually ignited a fire after halftime under our team that Carson Beck hadn't been able to do. The way that team rallied around Garner in that second half was epic. And that's why Georgia wasn't snubbed. Ole Miss is not going to get snubbed. So all you Florida State fans that's hating and bitching and whining and hoping that Ole Miss gets snubbed, that's not going to happen. Number one, Greg Sankey will form a lynch mob. Greg Sankey in the SEC has a hell of a lot more power than any other conference or commissioner in the Power Four. So if this team finishes 11-1, they take care of business in the Egg Bowl, which I do believe they will. They're not going to be dropped out of the playoffs. Now, I do see a scenario. If Lane Kiffin announces, and I do believe he will, that he's leaving Ole Miss, I can see a scenario where they'll move them down and move Texas Tech and Oregon up and maybe Notre Dame in front of them. I can see that happening. But as far as dropping them all the way out the playoffs, I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. That would destroy any credibility that this committee has if they do that, if they pull that stunt. But as far as this notion that Bama is locked in if they beat Auburn, Bama fans, I'm telling you right now, don't believe that bullshit. Do not believe that. You're not locked in. You're not locked in. Because if BYU upsets Texas Tech in Dallas, they are not going to drop Texas Tech all the way from 6 to out of the playoff. That ain't happening. That is not happening. That's not happening. That is not happening. So, but we'll see. We'll see. Like the great Chris Berman used to always say, that's why we play the game. But one thing I do know for sure, my Georgia Bulldogs, they're going to take care of business Saturday against Georgia Tech. You see, this is what I wanted. Go perfect the rest of the way, finish 11-1. If we don't get a bye, which it looks like we won't get a bye, barring that Bama and Texas A&M take care of business. The only way we'll be able to get a bye, well, you know what? There might be a chance that we'll get a bye, even without going to the SEC championship game. But that's a long shot. But the 5th seed, I ain't complaining about that because we'll either get North Texas, Tulane, or JMU. It'll be one of them 3 that we'll get in that 12th spot. So, hey, it is what it is. But like I said, I just wanted us to get there, secure a home game, and get hot. We hot. We there. Now all we need to do is finish the drill and secure a home game. And that's by taking care of business against those Yellow Jackets, in which I do believe we will do. On that note, I want you all to enjoy the rest of your Monday. I hope you all had a blessed and productive Monday. Enjoy the rest of your Monday night. Hey, this season went by so fast. We are in week 14, rivalry week. What college football is all about. Everything comes down to this week, rivalry week. So much on the line. So much on the line in many games, many games. This is going to be an epic weekend. I can't wait. And it starts Friday, Black Friday. Everyone, make sure you pull up over there to my bro, D True TV. He's going to be doing the War Eagles on here shortly. I'll be a guest host on the panel with him. We're going to be talking about the Iron Bowl. You Bama fans, are you nervous? Bama fans, are you nervous? Are you trembling? Do you have that Betty Wright syndrome? We're going to talk about that later on tonight on the War Eagles Zone. I will be back here in the dog call tomorrow night, and we'll talk about those rankings for week 14. Everybody be blessed. Thank you all for coming out. Enjoy the rest of your Monday night. See you. Make sure you pull up over there, D True TV. We will be discussing the Iron Bowl, and I'll be a guest host over there with him over there at the War Eagle Zone. So everyone, peace and blessings. Enjoy the rest of your Monday night. And like I always say, no matter what, win, lose, or draw, tie, rain, delay, it don't matter. It's always going to be go dogs. Sick 'em. Woo, 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 woo. And to all you Ohio State fans that think you just going to waltz out there and walk your way to a back-to-back championship, we coming back